Hey guys, this is Billy Rude from 58 Magazine, and today's video will be about the human body, the human prototype, which I also call the prototype and embodiment of integrating polarity energy. So the human body is an illusion, and it's an illusional instrument that we experience in order to play this game of illusions. And so the human body is like our vehicle for our soul and spirit to experience this game of illusions of a life in a physical representation, a prototype to experience this idea of creation, so that our soul can understand emotion. And these illusions are created by thoughts, which you can call games that become realities. And this reality is the only plane of 7 where darkness exists. It is a plane where beings are born of great consciousness, where they undergo social and mass consciousness programming into forgetfulness. And this is what happens here, and that is why it is so difficult to advance on this plane. With this understanding, I also think it's important to understand our own body, our own energy, and what we experience in this prototype of flesh and blood. We just have to remember that our body is not our highest complement, but our mind is, our imagination. The human body is just a physical manifestation, and the human mind and the consciousness is actually what controls it. And most of the time when people suffer, it's because they're living, or their body is in control of them, these past emotions and these past programs. So from what I've learned, there are 3 types of energy that exist in our body: the mind, the body, and the soul. And this energy is housed within our auric field. And the auric field of a body is like an egg. You have to break it within to become free, to become eternal. Most of us die in this egg because we don't break it open. And this auric field is also called our spirit, the God, the consciousness of our being. It is a direct connection to the flow of life, this energy, and it connects us to the recorder of our emotions, which is our soul, which is the memory bank of all of our experiences. And it records everything that you think, feel, and have experienced throughout your experience of life. And the soul's sole purpose is to record thought felt through the body, this body of the consciousness that inhabits it. And the soul records memory by the emotions that it feels. And if you don't have a soul, you cannot occupy thought, or even have a thought stand long enough to comprehend it. And the ego is like the totality of our entire being. The ego has a will and a concept of itself, and it is a summary of the entire aspect of you. The ego is what creates this idea of separation between me and you, or from us and every other thing that we experience in your reality. It almost has a will of its own thoughts and its own feelings, how it reacts to certain things and how it memorizes and remembers emotions and experiences. It's like almost a collective and unique entity within you that considers itself separate from everyone else. And so we are made up of soul, spirit, and ego. And so this makes up 3 particles. The awakened soul is the first, the aspect of your alter ego being the second, and the physical you, a consciousness, is the third. The ego and your soul take turns in this vehicle of your physical body in what you experience in what we call life. And the human body has also 7 energy centers, which is also known as seals or chakras. But these energy centers are powerful places of energy in between our black holes and centers that are connected to different aspects of our body, and glands and organs and hormones that release when we fill this energy upwards. And these centers are also distinct different levels of consciousness. And usually the first 3 energy centers are what people experience in this drama of life. They are what keeps us from experiencing things greater than this reality. So the first energy center is about sex and sexuality. The second energy center is about pain and suffering. And the third energy center is this power and manipulation. And this 4th energy center is love. And so in a way, the first 3 energy centers are what we call the animal, the human animal. The human body is a representation of animal instincts. And so these first 3 seals are kind of what the animal kingdom is based upon. It's about instinct, survival, fear, And so if you begin to think about this in these seals, the first seal and sex is not really about love. Sex is more of an animal instinct and a basic human instinct. And so when you begin to understand this, love is not born in the first energy center. Love is born in the fourth energy center. This center is the state of consciousness with the physical identity of physical sensations and emotions. But a great life does not exist here. Sex isn't a bad thing, but this is a spiritual school, and we are here to learn to be greater than this animal. And in this first energy center, we must seek to believe in ourselves to rise above our sexuality, because a great life is not determined on great sex. Great sex doesn't even last and actually drains energy from the body if there is no love. It becomes poison to the body. What I've learned is that all disease happens in the second energy center. The need for love in the second energy center causes the creation of accidents and trouble in order to keep our attention away from ourselves. And internally, this is where beings create a need so great it causes a disease, the beginning of the end of life. They need a lot of attention. They seek attention, and so they create and manifest a disease to point more attention to it. But deep down, they just desire to be loved and understood. And this desire becomes such a need that they manifest something unhealthy in order to seek attention. They create unhealthy conditions in their life. Old age, disease, accidents, and depletions of bodily functions happen in the second level, in the second energy center. And when it comes up to the third energy center, you begin to feel love that, happened when you were a little child, or you received support from a friend, or a really intimate relationship. And as when you're at this third seal, you begin to have fantasies about something bigger and grander, more loving way of seeing life. So when you begin to see people when they have diseases and how they act in their state of consciousness, sometimes this disease is a manifestation of this lack of love that they have for themselves. So they create this disease unconsciously to get more love outside of them, when really it's a cry from their soul and their spirit to start loving itself, to raise its energy up to its heart and connect, to remove these blockages that create disease. And there are some people that they fantasize disease or even death to get people's attention. They control and enslave you with their thoughts and try to manipulate you to get them to agree with their point of view. They are not connected to themselves and their soul, so they believe in fear. They believe in more limited state of consciousness about death. Because they do not have a connection to their heart of this higher, more unlimited way of thinking. And the fourth energy center is that of the heart, of the soul. This state of consciousness loves very deeply, but does not know how to express the deepness. They basically experience great love, but can't express it. But those who live and express their love outwardly through their actions and their words, they pass into this next fifth plane of life through love. And the mass consciousness of humanity is at the third energy center. And many people who have a child reach the fourth energy center. But then throughout their life and their experiences, they fall back down to the third energy center. That is why mostly everyone is sick and with physical ailments of some kind, because illness only arises for the second and third energy center. And when you're living in these first three energy centers, you can see patterns of behavior of victimization. We use our own pain and suffering to seek attention. And when you look at reality and everything around us, everything wants us to be kept in these three seals. Everything is about sex, everything is about power, about manipulation, about pain and suffering. You can't watch anything without something about someone, without someone suffering or having an addiction or having sexual issues or relationship problems. This is what people focus on. So once you start looking at your energy centers in your body, you begin to see and recognize your energy and where you are in the state of consciousness, because each of these energy centers represent a state of consciousness. And so physical changes and manifestations of healing can only happen when your attitude changes and your state of consciousness. So that's why it's really important to master your judgment and your negative thinking about yourself. This isn't about looking outside yourself or anything. This is about understanding the human body and the energy center so you can create more of an unlimited life. Because once you start having more unlimited thoughts and emotions, the body will start to react to them. So if there's a physical change you want in your body, all you have to do is change the state of your consciousness, of your attitude. The mind controls the body. If you tell the body to live for thousands of years, it will. The real you always lives. So contemplate that eternity and reflect it into the body, and that it will become. Whatever you think, your mind will make it real. Your imagination will create it. And when we master these judgments of polarity, consciousness, and energy, we have the ability to become any ideal we can imagine. You can do or become anything you want in this body through thought. And our thought, our vibration, can be concentrated on the body to command it in any way we want. Your body, this prototype, is a vehicle, an instrument to create with. Its power is at our control when we are able to master our emotions, our energy. It will live as long as we want to live. When we master our mind, which is our consciousness, our feelings, which is the body, and our emotions, which is our soul, we integrate this polarity energy and become whole. And your body is the totality of your consciousness and your emotions. But this is why we came here to this school. We came here to love ourselves, to become God. We came here to release judgment, overcome our emotions, and face the challenges of good versus evil consciousness, polarity consciousness, of humanity, and see the beauty of God becoming human, of human becoming God. This is the beginning and the realization of Christhood, of Christ consciousness. Thank you again for watching this video I've created about the human body, this human prototype of merging and integrating polarity, consciousness, and energy. Please don't forget to subscribe to future videos where I use this knowledge that I've curated to help empower your life.